Okay, maybe. Oh, hey, you're there.
Yay.
Yes. Okay,
Sorry.
great. All good.
This might be the downfall of having a hotel connection.
Oh no, are you telling me that a hotel connection is not a high bandwidth streaming Wi-Fi paradise?
I'm guessing. Well, we'll soon find out, won't we, over the next hour and a half?
We will.
Let's see how many times Barry has to reconnect throughout a single recording.
This is the risk we take.
Just to provide content for our listeners and viewers.
Yes. Well, I can tell that you are a little soft spoken, and that's because for you, remind me what time it is.
It is happy, and I'm not using any of my usual kit whatsoever. I'm at the other end of the country to what I usually am, in a lovely hotel, and trying to be nice and thoughtful to my neighbours as well. I'm sure they wouldn't mind.
Well, I'm sure they appreciate it. Maybe you do a plug while you're there, so that way if they're listening with their ears to the wall, they can tell that you are going to be live and they can listen to you next door.
That's true. I'm. If anybody's around the Lytham St Anne's area and wants to come and invade the offshore hotel, then come and find me. Though perhaps talking about invading places is a place we should be at the moment.
All right. Yeah, let's not do that. But what I was saying is that you should just announce it to your next door neighbors, so that way they can watch you live. I could
put a little note under the door.
Yeah, not calling for people to come and dox you live. That would be a little scary. Or as you put it, invade.
I'm finding
real fun, that one.
Chrome has a new feature where you can put two tabs side by side.
I've seen that.
Or it's new to me anyway. If other people have found this already, then fair play. But I'm quite liking it. It's quite certainly for this, because I've already got one screen. So
yeah, I do not know what I did to trigger that, and it happens within the browser.
It does. And you right, so you have one tab, then you right click on the other tab that you want to put side by side. And then there is a move tab into split view.
Move tab, new tab, split view, current tab. Ah, I see it. Okay, yeah. So that's all right. It's basically like doing the Windows left lock and right lock to the screen,
but within the
within the browser. Yeah.
And so I've now got two of them. So I've got you and the show notes on one, and then I can click the other one, and that gives me two of the news stories that we're using for our content. That
amazing.
I can look at the same time. And then I've got my phone and iPad to the side of me. So, I've practically got my studio layout. It's just very...
You're here.
Yeah.
Look at that. Well, speaking of being here, if you are here watching live, which I see the viewers are rolling in, say hi. Where are you watching from? What our topic tonight is CES 2026. It's one of my favorite episodes of the year. And I would like to know what you all found the most interesting, disturbing, fascinating thing out of CES this year. There's plenty of things to choose from. You could just Google best, worst CES products, and you find a whole host of articles out there to help you narrow down your choice. But would love to hear from those who are watching live. What thing from CES has got you feeling a certain type of way? Positive, negative, doesn't matter. We'll take it all.
Yeah, because let's face it, there's enough content there in CES for everybody to have favorites and not. So I think it's I'd be very keen to hear what people liked, what they didn't like, and particularly maybe some of the things that we think are completely crazy. The people who go, yeah, that's a thing. So yeah, I'd be really keen for people to come in with their wacky suggestions.
You know what? I'll say this a little bit in my overview, but it's a little surprising to me. Well, maybe not, but they keep coming to these events every year where they kind of say, "This is the first time we've ever seen this," and it's not the first time we've seen it. We've actually seen this multiple times. What are you doing? Um, and it's kind of disheartening because like it's supposed to be like the cool new thing, and we're just not getting as much of that as we used to.
But I guess still trying to find now the cool, quirky next step, because there's so, like I said, there's so much in there that we're trying to still almost solve the old question. And I'm sure we will talk about in the main show the fridges, because fridges are always there. And there's some bits about that, but then there's other newer things that I think with some of the reviews I've seen, we're quite disparaging of. And actually, maybe it's the next big thing. We just don't want to give it the chance. So I don't know if you read the one about the lollipop.
Yeah.
So I will, if I want to make a note to make sure we do mention that in the show, because I think
the trash lollipop. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's the point. Is, I mean, we'll talk about the tech later, but the experts, the commentators, have immediately thrown it in the bin, if you will, because they're saying, "Oh well, it's not very eco-friendly." Effectively, it's limited lifetime technology. It's not rechargeable. It's not replayable, and that is all very valid. And sort of commentary, but actually the fundamental principle about what it is, well, it's not solving anything, but the fundamental position of what it does, maybe we shouldn't be so quick to judge that, because this is, for me, CES is not really about fully finished, complete products at that point. It's about going, look at this cool thing, and then later on, it's about making it that type of thing. I know it is a consumer product show, but it's still very much should be the front end of consumer product. Give the lollipop a chance, is what I'm saying.
That's fair. This will be a fun show. This is like I said, this is my favorite show, one of my favorite shows of the year, where we get to break down some of the tech coming out of there. That's a whole lot of fun.
Yeah. Well, it's gadgets, isn't it? And we love gadgets. So oh, why does that? Oh, the split tab thing doesn't work in the iPad version of Chrome.
Wow, interesting.
Unless it's that. No, it's not. Cancel that. There we go.
I'm kind of sad that we're cutting the post show a little short tonight, because one of the things that I'm going to talk about in my one more thing, I mean, we could start early and just do a little bit longer and then just end when we wanted to. But one of the things that I have in my one more thing this week is it would be ripe for discussion.
Okay.
In a post show setting.
Hold on, I need to go and read your one more things now.
Yeah, I know you do.
Okay. See, that's almost a show in its own right.
I know. It really is. But I think there's the second bullet point there particularly is where I could go bananas, I think is the technical term, for wanting to go and explore that topic.
Yeah. That's fair. And just for everybody listening, basically, I'm being a bit of a, what's the word? A bit of a boring person, because I've suggested because I'm in a hotel and we'll have neighbours who may or may not know, or maybe come to join me in my room, maybe, to participate in the show. If they hear what's going on, then I figured, given that it'll be about 11 o'clock when we finish, that they might want to get some sleep. I mean, I'm trying to keep myself well moderated and stuff, so I'm not shouting. Hopefully,
Can you turn it down just a little bit, Barry? You're
yeah.
kind of blowing my ears out here. No, so we're gonna do a bit of a wrap up in the post show, but we're gonna call it a little bit early tonight, so that way the folks who are listening live next to Barry's hotel room can get some slumber.
And also selfishly, I can then get some slumber as well.
And
but
then
that's not
selfishly,
the main reason.
yes.
Normally, I'm willing to sacrifice for this channel.
I appreciate that, and I'm sure the listeners do too.
Right.
What does this button do?
It's always fun when you have them sort of conversations.
You ever like press the buttons and just, what does this do? What does that do?
Well, certainly now with if you're looking at the new Restream or the Restream layouts, I got to play with that this week because I recorded my first interview for 1202 in over a year. It's very exciting, isn't it?
I'm so proud of you.
I know. Just got right back in that saddle. I mean, the fact I've still got to produce it now and publish it, but that's all next. That's a later Barry problem.
Okay, hang on. I don't want to jinx this, and I'm not going to click any buttons. Can you check to see if we're streaming on TikTok? I want to make sure.
On TikTok, yeah.
Because I had a beef with TikTok last week.
No.
Because it says we are.
If
we are in fact not, then I'm going to have another beef with TikTok.
No, we are streaming.
We are. Oh, hey, you can see us. Great.
Yeah. And in fact, it suggested that it might be streaming to my account as well.
Oh.
But it shouldn't. No, it's not. It did try and sync with it, but it's probably given me a that's not happening thing. Yeah, because it says
we show up in the horizontal.
Oh, I haven't got that. Maybe it's because it's going through this account. No, it's not going through that account either. Let's go to TikTok Studio.
See, the other thing that like is not great about this, by the way, is that we're clearly locked in. Oh wait, is it? Hold on, I see. Oh yeah, you've attached the wrong account. I see.
Who has?
You have. It is looks as though. Oh wait, no. Hang on. Yes, it's going through your personal account and not your podcast account.
Oh, but is it going live though?
It is. Yeah, I got it right here. Wait, hang on. Don't want to dox you. I'll cover that. There we are. Look at that.
Wow, check us out.
Look at us.
Okay, well that's okay. It's cool but irritating because I was hoping to go live through the other account.
What's also irritating is that I can't see what people are chatting on ours, which is unfortunate.
Without having it up, yes. No, so I see what you mean. I wonder if I went.
And this is where, like, I tried to get it to where I could monitor this last week, but the issue is that when I opened that, then it canceled. It like completely severed our connection to TikTok, and so I don't want to do that again. There has to be some way. Like, actually, do me a favor. If you're watching on TikTok right now, can you just type in chat? I want to see if it comes through. Because I don't.
Be cool.
Yeah, I don't know if it does. Actually, I guess I can chat on yours. Did you link it through TikTok or did you link it through Restream?
Through Restream.
Oh, on the TikTok. Okay, cool. TikTok.
Yeah, I paired the channel. So
okay, let's see here.
But you're right. It needs to.
Testing.
I need to test that for my
testing. No, testing. There we go. Let's see. We got a testing chat.
So I'm in my app and I've got nothing coming through.
Yeah, that's so odd. Look at us. We're trying to figure. Wait, hold on.
If we go to the TikTok studio, what does that do? Because the TikTok studio doesn't show that doesn't think I'm live at all.
Isn't this ridiculous? It's like we should be figuring this stuff out. Like I don't know.
Right. Like maybe before we go live, we should TikTok. If you're listening to this on TikTok and you are a TikTok guru, can you tell us how it works, please? Because we're not down with the kids enough to understand it.
And to be clear, the setup that we're doing is we're casting through Restream, and the channels are paired with TikTok. So you know what? This is embarrassing because there has been a moment, Barry, where we are no longer up with the technology.
Which, considering who we are, then that is...
considering what we do and who we are, this is very embarrassing.
Hold on, I'm just going to do this. So I'm going to go, hello, Nick and Barry. Does this come through the Restream chat? Clearly not.
Well, there might be a delay, but I don't know.
Might be a delay.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, I'm not getting anything in my inbox either, which is
yes,
great. Like I have it up and ready to view. Yeah. This is, look at us live usability test this cross-functional feature.
Yes, that's how we get around this. Actually, there is quite a delay on there is a... In fact, I don't know how far.
Do I dare click the thing? I don't dare it. I don't dare do it.
Don't dare click the thing in case it breaks.
Because there's a TikTok live monitor link there. Do you see that?
I don't have the same. I only have the channels that I've linked. Oh, what happens if I press them?
Oh.
Yeah, so, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. So I could click on that TikTok live monitor, but I don't want to. But yes, it is streaming to my account, but I do need to set it up to stream to the 1202 account, not my account. But it's only every time. I think this is one of the first few times that it's actually let me stream on TikTok. So,
oh, great!
There must be lower in the standards.
Let's go. Let's go.
But there is a TikTok app. So you TikTok desktop. It's an easy thing to say. Thing as well, which that might be helpful.
Yeah, I can't see anything. Anyway, if you are watching there, I apologize. We can't see what you're saying, but thank you for watching there. Really, really do. We try to be accessible everywhere. So if you are watching there, then great. Then we've done our duty.
Yes. Apparently, I'm your number one fan at the moment as well.
Oh, thanks.
I know, right?
Just like real life.
Totes.
All right. Well, like I said earlier, if we're going to be talking about CES tonight, the weird, the wacky, the wonderful, all of it. And so if you have a favorite weird, wacky, or wonderful invention, presentation, something from CES, drop it in the chat. We'd love to hear from you. And we will bring that up during the show because we're only going to touch on some of the things that we found across CES. We won't get to everything, obviously, but we would love to know what is impactful. I choose that word carefully to you.
It's a good word. Right, I need to bring up the... Must be that one. Come on, there we go. Yes, that's good. Right. I want to try and get all the things up on my thing. So is that the other? Oh, the yes, because I think if nothing else, I guess we for them.
Should we get a
We
list?
should really talk shop for a moment. Obviously, we do usual thoughts. I've chucked a couple of bits in there. What do we want to talk about? Oh god, sorry. The best items first, and just basically cherry pick out of the articles what you
Oh, sure.
fancy.
Yeah, we can do that. I figure we can just do whatever, man. Like there's so many different things that we could talk to. That's what I was saying. Like we should probably have like a list of things. Like I know you want to talk about the fridge, probably with the one with the barcode scanners. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that one for sure. Let's do the
Well, we've got to talk about vacuum cleaners because they're probably the only really successful thing. Actually, the way that it's evolved. I'm assuming you want to talk about Legos.
Yeah, let's talk about Legos. Let's talk about the Atlas robot. Are you writing these down?
I'm just putting them into the notes.
Okay, great. Let's talk about that chef's knife. That one's interesting. Let's talk about
I thought I'd put this in already in here. Oh, I'm trying to use my thing with a. Oh, the smart locks. I'm going to do that in my thoughts, so that's fine. You've
spatial presence monitor. Spatial presence monitor is cool. They've had them, but this is more advanced, which is neat. The three. Let's talk about the three panel phone.
Oh, where's that? I haven't seen that.
That one is number 14 of 33.
Oh, but are you on the CNET one or the Times?
Yes, the CNET one.
Cool.
Just
now. I'll put down the. I'm assuming you'd like to talk about the Star Wars dartboard.
Yeah. Star Wars dartboard. I didn't see that one.
That's on the CES on the CNET one.
Okay. Let's talk about the desktop waifus.
Oh, do you want to talk about the My Persona AI?
Is that the digital clone?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Mainly because we've had projects to do with that, and
yeah,
I was doing it when it was early. People. Oh, the 3-panel phone. Yes.
Looking.
Oh, the wireless, very short-wave wireless comms, which is not new as such, but it's making it better. It's something that I was writing research papers on quite a long time ago. Oh God, listen to me. Around how we have to have like our own personal networks, and that is allowing that. So I'm happy to talk about that.
Okay, you want to talk about the lollipop?
Yeah, I do.
Oh yeah, this Wacky, is it Wacky AI ring?
Oh yeah, I'd seen about that, but that's just for recording though, isn't it?
It is. It's cool though. That's cool. And then let's see, from the worst, got the lollipop.
So we could always just take the worst from the top and just go all the way through them. There isn't that many.
No, there's not too many.
been a sort of. I think in some cases they've been a bit harsh on them, if I'm honest. But then in other cases, no.
Were these the actual worst in show?
Apparently so.
Yeah, this is the list of show.
Oh, there's
the worst of show list. So this is like things that attendees have voted on.
Okay, yeah. So you click the link in that one, and it takes you to it.
Yeah, there's other ones. Did we do the AI companion, desk companion, the waifu? We have that in there.
Cool.
Yeah. All right, great. And then I didn't see the dartboard. I didn't see the Star Wars dartboard.
That is on the CES. It's quite near the top. It's in fact it's just below the chef's knife.
Is it the CNET one?
Yes, CNET one.
Oh, okay. We could take a look.
So below the chef's knife, above headphones that act like smart glasses.
Oh, bullseye more than Womp Rats with the Star Wars dartboard. Gotcha. It's cool, but what's novel about it?
It has cameras in it, and it'll track the darts on the way in and give you automated scoring on an app.
Oh, okay. Interesting. All right.
And it looks. I mean, obviously, we all know that I'm not a Star Wars fan, but I think that looks cool.
How about the ice cube maker? You see the ice cube maker that uses AI to reduce the noise it makes?
No, I mean, must have missed that one.
That one's not in the list that we have. I'm grabbing it from another place. Let's see what else we got. Yeah, I think we got most of the stuff.
I like the got a combo washer dryer, but they say that it's now worth it. Because it could do stuff quickly. So
yeah, they said that 10 years ago.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Oh, I hadn't noticed that earlier. Oh, I wish I'd seen that. I could get Amanda's opinion on it. So basically, they've got a breastfeeding monitor.
Oh yeah, the one that's shaped like an egg.
No, it is almost like a nipple shield, but it tracks flow rate, and so it means you can track what the baby's feeding over time. But
the one I'm thinking of is a hormone tracking.
Oh no, that was different. That's what we mentioned that last week, and that was the one where we had to issue a
don't do it.
A data notice. No, this would be interesting, but I'd want to chat to, some ladies before actually commenting on it to see whether it looks faddy or it might actually be useful. Yeah. Anyway, we've written down Lego. Yes, we have.
Yeah, I think we're ready to go. You good?
I'm so good.
All right. Hey, stick around. We're gonna play the intro, and we're gonna be back to do this thing right after this.
Welcome to Human Factors Cast, your weekly podcast for human factors, psychology, and design.
Hello and welcome everybody back to another episode of Human Factors Cast. I'm your host, Nick Roome, and I'm joined today by Mr. Barry Kirby.
Hello there. Great to be here again.
Hello, Barry. This is episode 313. We are recording this live on January 20th, 2026. Like I said, this is Human Factors Cast. We got a great show for you lined up today. We're going to be talking about this is one of my favorite episodes of the year, where we talk through all of the fun things from CES, Consumer Electronics Show, happening in Las Vegas. I know this happened a couple weeks ago, but due to our scheduling, we're just now getting to it. But for some programming notes, Barry, I know you have a very exciting update that you'd like to tell people about.
Yeah, certainly over at 1202, we've got the first interview in the bag. So, having had a hiatus for 12, 13 months, we decided to relaunch with what we're doing, and we're going to be talking about UX, and particularly the use of UX in defense. But it's not all roses, because when my guest went in and to register and give me all his guest details, he sent me a message saying, "Is your website supposed to look like this?" And you went to the link for 1202 podcast.com, which I've been telling everybody to go to for quite a long time. And it turns out it doesn't go to my podcast page anymore. And because somebody else set that domain licensing up for me, I tried to get in touch with them to say, look, could you just sort this out? And they couldn't, and all sorts of shenanigans trying to get it sorted has ensued. So, in order to circumvent all that, you now go to 1202pod.com, not 1202podcast.com, and I've now got domain security on that and everything under my own control, because I am that sort of person. So, yes, you're now in the first interview will go live next week at 1202pod.com.
Excellent. I remember when we had our own domain issues, and now we have humanfactorscast.com too. So it's all good. Go to the right domains.
Yes.
That's it. But let's get into the news, because I'm excited for it. That's right. This is the part of the show all about Human Factors news. Barry, what's our story this week?
So this episode, we're heading to, as you've already said, CES 2026, where Human Factors is quietly the main character. On one side, you've got genuinely thoughtful innovations such as modular repairable headphones that anticipate battery regulations, stair-climbing vacuums and LiDAR lawn bots trying to adapt to real homes, circadian-friendly lamps and sunrise clocks that respect sleep biology, and safer paper-based batteries and reducing e-waste. On the other side, though, we get the worst in show tour. Voice-only refrigerators with no handles, AI baristas that require a subscription to keep making coffee, anime AI soulmates packed on your desk with always-on mics and cameras, and fitness gear that openly admits it can't protect your data. So, Nick, you've seen all the stuff within CES and what's been going on. What's your thoughts? What have you liked?
Yes, we've consolidated several lists for you all. So we're looking at the best and the worst of CES. And one thing that is really sticking out to me, at least from all the coverage that I've seen, even outside of these. Whoa.
You obviously didn't want to share your thoughts. Okay.
I didn't, because am I back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, no, you're back.
Okay, great. All right, so let me just start from the top. So we've consolidated a list here, a list of lists, if you will, from a lot of different sources. And one of the things that I'm noticing across all those lists is the use of AI. And this is coverage that's coming out from a lot of different sources, not just these lists, but coverage actually coming from the event. You're seeing AI everywhere. And this is, I think, even to some companies' detriment. They're calling things that aren't AI just to get in on the buzzword, just to get in as part of the conversation. These things are cool in some ways, but they don't actually do it. They don't actually use AI to do the thing, but they're still calling it AI as a buzzword. And I think, that it's a cool thing, but I don't think we need to actually just apply it blanketly to everything. The other thing that I'm starting to notice is that there's a lot of these devices that are coming out of CES that I think suffer from the technical term enshittification. Enshittification products worse over time, and I think they're at that were showcased here that are actually bad experiences. And especially for things that are supposed to be smart appliances. I wonder if we're more willing to accept these bad experiences for these smart devices. And the one that comes to my mind is you mentioned it at the tail end of your of the blurb, which was like the barista that you need a subscription to keep making. Like
Mm.
why? Um, to me, it's like there's another one about a bike, and it just to me it feels like we are we are sort of building in these bad experiences because of marketing models and not because it's what's right for the end user. And that bothers me. But we'll get into all that and more. But Barry, what's your sort of thoughts? What's resonating with you about CES this year?
So clearly, CES robots was a massive theme across all different types. And who thought that we would need quite so many in play? But this is all very much a historically you they'd be a very niche thing to see, and only like the very rich people would have them. But it is getting to the point where they're making people's everyday lives easier. I mean, I remember when we first started talking about the robot vacuum cleaners. Um, I never thought I'd have one in my house as such for many years. We've now got one on one of the floors, and that's fantastic. We take it for granted. It ever since Christmas, it hoovers the floor every day. But what I like coming back to CES is they're not just saying, right, it now exists. They're now evolving it. So we'll probably get into it, but we've now got what the vacuum cleaner is back because it's climbing the stairs. Um, there is also the development for development's sake. So the cynic in me sort of sees so TVs are back, but really they get thinner, they get bigger. Um, why do we need them so thin and so big? So the big drivers like wallpaper TVs, we don't necessarily need that. But if you want to show off stuff, then that's cool. Um, Security seems to be more of a thing. So they're talking about smart locks, and basically having a lot more robust technologies looking at smart locks, which is when you're looking at the front of your home. But a lot of them do still seem to have the problem of being device dependent. So what they're trying to get over is like the need to use biometrics and things like that. But it's not actually saying that you're home; it's saying that your phone's home. Bit more into self-care. So you've got various lamps and sleep supports and things like that. So really trying to use technology to give you a better quality of life, which is quite nice. But it seems that some of this really is coming into the consumer market. It's neat, it's geeky, it's bringing geeky to the masses. But as you kind of alluded to, is the key to all of this is usability. And if it does seem to be that that historically you could have really cool gadgets and get away with it because the technology wasn't quite there. Usability is now a serious thing, and there should be no excuse for not having good usable products. So lecture over. Should we? Which are your favorite items that you would like to talk through?
We have a list here. Why don't we just talk through the list here? We have let's start with the Atlas robot. What do you think about the Atlas robot?
Interesting, isn't it? Because it's one of these robots that is actually a robot. It looks like it, and it sort of smells like it. It's trying to be almost a Swiss Army knife of capabilities, but it seems like it's actually robust. It seems like it's been on its real journey. But everybody knows, obviously, the coming from Boston Dynamics, it's gone on that journey, and we've all followed that journey. So it's interesting to see what it's there and what it's doing. Personally, I'm still not entirely sure we're there to have such a device in your home. Is it gonna feel intrusive? Being what it is, but I'd still have one if anybody's willing to pass one over. What about you, Nick? Where are you at with that
So,
list?
yeah, so this particular version of Atlas that they had brought up during CES was to be worked on in Hyundai factories.
Yeah.
And so I also don't think it's ready for the home, but it's interesting that now we're starting to see it in the workplace. And I think that's the first stage to acceptance, to having some of these things in the phone. If you're going to work and you're working alongside these things, then it makes it a lot more easy, more palatable to bring it into the home. So that way you can have it alongside you and your family. Um, there's an interesting tactile thing happening with these robots. There's um, accounts of these being soft touch plastic,
Mm.
and the thing that people are talking about is sort of how they feel about the engineering, how they feel about the robot itself. But I think this one took away the best robot at CES, so it's worth talking about, and it's exciting. As somebody who will will have no hesitation with bringing in a humanoid robot into the home so that they can wash my dishes and my clothes and stuff, and I don't have to worry about that. That's yeah, let's do it. But yeah, I think we're closer, but maybe still a long way off. Um, I'll bring up the comment. We got a comment here. Andres from the lab had a buddy of mine went to a restaurant recently that had an AI scale to predict the weight of your food. So as we're kind of talking about AI and sort of how AI is so prevalent in everything, it's a great comment. Thanks, Andres. Let's get into the next one, because this one actually I'm selfishly excited for.
Yeah, so this is Lego, and they've come up with a Lego smart brick. So Lego has always been evolving and developing. So the idea that they bring out smart bricks that basically got smart circuitry inside them, so then you can have circuit sensor speakers and lights in, and if you react intelligently. It takes your standard Lego sets and takes them to basically to the next level. Um, I wonder whether this is a step too far for Lego. They've had Lego Technic. They've tried electronic stuff in the past with. So I remember having some electronics and Lego Technic kits that had that level of control. But one of the selling points for for Lego has always been that it's a simple toy, or it's a simple concept that you then let the imagination flow. Um, every time we try to do the slightly more engaging stuff, so the electronics and the hydraulics control, it's never quite caught on and developed in that way. So, what do you think? Do you think this is going to be different for them? Do you think this is going to be a grower?
I think so. You can compare this to like the Super Mario sets that they've done before. And the way that this is different from those is that the Super Mario sets sort of react to, um, I think they use sort of like vision to understand what blocks they're over, and they do pattern recognition and that type of thing. But this one is actually like bricks connecting with each other wirelessly.
Mm.
And I think this to answer your question of whether this ruins imagination. No, I don't think so. I think this enhances it in a lot of ways. The specific thing that they showed here was Star Wars, and so they gave a few examples of how, like, if you're dogfighting with an X-wing and a TIE fighter, they're going to make their relative sounds and will react, depending on the position of one to another. So if the X-wing's behind the TIE fighter, you'll hear blasters from the X-wing, and likewise, if the TIE fighter's behind the X-wing, you'll hear blasters from the TIE fighter. And they're having this dogfight in space, and you might hear some additional sounds. That's really cool. And
Mhm.
if you think about the technology here that reacts to your creativity, imagine what it would be like to walk around the world with your own personal soundtrack. I think that's kind of what's happening with these when children go and play with these toys. There's a lot of people who are really negative on the smart bricks, but I am actually very positive on them because of some of the things that you brought up with Lego Technic, with some of the other mechanical elements of Lego. You see whole school teams building robotics.
Mm.
And so I can imagine that if they open source these bricks to a certain degree, or provide a framework for children to code, their own responses to these bricks as they interact with other elements, I think the sky's the limit with really what you can do with Lego and robotics. And that to me is really exciting with a young, for somebody like me with a young child who's super into being curious about the world. So for me, it's a huge win, and I'm excited for it.
Good. No, I think, like I say, I think it'll be interesting to see how it's implemented and what they do, what they learn from how they've done these things in the past that haven't necessarily taken off. And it might just be that the level of technology and the level of miniaturization allows a significant step change in what they're doing. I hope my cynicism is not rewarded. I hope it's good.
I hope it's good too. Let's talk about vacuum cleaners. You brought this one up.
Yeah, I mean, as I said in the intro, I think one of the tasks that everybody hates to do is vacuum cleaning. When we talk about CES, I think for the past couple of years, there's always been a slight evolution of this vacuum cleaner ever since you got the original Roomba, basically the flat disc that goes around and can get under your things. Then there was a slow evolution then to be able to do the edges. How far out do the rotating elements go that actually get the dust? Then there was another mini step change when you can also get the mopping devices. But the biggest fundamental problem is that if you lived in a bungalow, absolutely sorted. If you're just on a single story apartment or something like that, they're fantastic. But as soon as you get into a multi-floor situation, you have to have multiples of them, and at £500 each, or somewhere between £200 and £500, if not more, that's an expensive investment. And you need to have the space for them to store and all that sort of stuff. So interestingly, this year the biggest thing around this vacuum cleaner was the ability for it to climb stairs. And so it has two legs basically on either side that it can help not only climb the stairs but vacuum the stairs as it's climbing them, which was really, I just think, really, really cool. So it's making it more effective and efficient for people to actually legitimately own one, rather than it just being an extravagance. Because a normal vacuum cleaner now costs you, £200-300, something like that. These are now in that sort of range, and to have this sort of capability. So I'm really, really quite impressed. It's something that's been at CES for quite a while, evolving, but it seems to do a significant evolution every time. So I'm almost quite excited for next year to see how they top this.
Yeah, this one particularly is interesting because I think there are some other things going on with RoboVacs that have traditionally posed as issues, and I speak from this as like a parent, right? There's often things that are on the floor that should not be on the floor.
Yep.
And I wonder if this type of solution here, where you to describe the robot, by the way, it's got these two sort of arms with elbows on the side, and where the hands would be are wheels, and it sort of balances itself on these wheels and uses all the software inside to sort of keep itself balanced. And will use the arms to push itself up, so that way it can go up and over these stairs. It can also do a lot of other things too. But I wonder if that is sort of the next step, is if they can use this to maneuver over obstacles. They show it actually maneuvering over things like ramps. They showed stairs, and if you want to get about like some statistics here, it took the Saros rover approximately 30 to 40 seconds to climb about 5 large steps. So it's not super fast. It could probably get up half a flight of stairs in a minute. And so then, but whether or not that's actually cleaning time, I don't think so. So it's not actually cleaning the steps as it's going. That's just climbing. And so, can it get over obstacles? Can it do it can apparently dance, which is a cool thing, I guess, if you want to show this off to your friends. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what it will take, because I'm one of those consumers where I'm just waiting for someday when there's gonna be a RoboVac that does it all, and I'm like, okay, that's it. I got to get that, but I haven't seen it yet. And this is close, but it's not quite there for me, and I don't know what the thing is that would put it over the edge.
So our entry point was when my daughter wanted one for Christmas when she was moving into her new house and into a new flat. So we got her one, and it was one of the cheaper end of the market because you're like, fair enough, make it work. But she set it up to go around our living room, and it suddenly dawned on me what the winning strategy of it is because it's not how long it takes; it's the fact it's doing it when you're not there. And so it can do it almost as slowly as you want, or just do bits of it because you're off, you're doing other things, and it's just happening while you're not there. So that was almost a dawning realization, which sounds obvious as soon as you say it, but it was sort of one of these things that it's that time crunching thing that like that's why we like dishwashers. You fill it up and then you walk away and leave it, and that type of thing. So, yeah. No, I'm more of a fan of it than I anticipated I would be.
You know what? I think I know what the entry point is for me.
Oh,
It's gonna be when I have an in-home robot that can use the vacuum that I have, or that can pull out the gunk from what the RoboVac pulls up, right? Multiple robots in the home. That's the way to go. All right, let's talk about this next one here. This one I threw in there because this one to me feels very gimmicky, and this is the ultrasonic knife. So if you look at this thing, it apparently vibrates 30,000 times per second. I've seen some demos on this. There's a lot of skepticism and negative opinions towards this, myself included. This one is a kitchen knife, and the way it works is it's battery powered, and or maybe rechargeable battery powered, but the idea here is that it vibrates the knife, and that vibration is supposed to help with cutting food. And so it works, I guess. And if you look at any demo of this thing, you'll understand why I say I guess. Um, and then you look at the price tag and you see $400, and I think that's where it just becomes, this thing is not good enough to justify the price. If they can get the technology down, maybe, or if they can get the cost down for this technology, then maybe it would be worth it. But at this point, the amount of benefit that you would get from a simple vibration is not quite there, at least from the demos that I have seen.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, this, isn't it? Because it is bringing the industrial or the professional to try and bring it into the home market. So you've got something. So in professional, larger scale operations, you do have ultrasonic knives, and I guess the technology is almost, it's simple, but it's effective when you've got somebody who is A, trained to use it, and B, can get the maximum out of it. To suggest that you get the same sort of benefits bringing it into the home kitchen, when I'd like to think myself I'm quite nifty with a knife and this and the other. I wouldn't see necessarily the full benefit of doing this. The flip side argument is, which I think I've got sympathy with, but I'd need to see more of it, is if you get chef's quality knives in your home, then yes, you can cut like a chef, but chances are you won't keep them as sharp. You won't look after them in the same way as a chef does, because for a chef, it's their tools of the trade. It's something they maintain, and they'll go through knives, whereas we don't necessarily do that in our home. So this, in theory, means you don't have to worry about sharpening your blades as much, sharpen your knives as much, but also you can get cheaper knives if it's got this technology in it. So I sort of get it, but I more on your side of the argument. I think it's a bit of a fad, and for that price point, if you're going to spend £400 on a knife, you're going to spend £400 on a decent knife set and a really good sharpening stone, rather than this one, I'm afraid.
Now, the one thing, I don't want to take away like all the cynicism from this, because that just would not be typical of us, Barry, right?
I know, right?
So let's the thing that I keep hearing repeatedly is that it helps in terms of the amount of pressure it would take to cut something, which, fine, fair. And to most people, that difference in pressure is not going to be worth the $400. But I tend to think about this from like an accessibility perspective as well, where if you think about folks who have like arthritis or carpal tunnel, or some sort of ailment with their hands or arms where they cannot press as hard, this might assist them with that. And so for that, I will give it like bonus points for helping with accessibility, because you help those with accessibility needs, and it helps everybody downstream. So maybe someday this technology will be a little bit more affordable, but for now, maybe we use it in more of those specialized circumstances.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely that. It's obviously the way we described it right from the beginning. It's taken from the professional to bring it into the home, and I think if you cut that price point down to something that is more akin to, like I said, a more affordable but expensive knife, rather than $400, maybe $50, $30, something like that, then you're gonna get take up of it. But it's not $400. I'm sorry.
Let's talk about this next one here. This one's worth a mention, if only because there is an upgraded version of a spatial presence sensor, and these are going to be cool for applications like Internet of Things type of thing, where home automation, that type of thing. Where the main sort of benefit to these spatial sensors is that you have like a less invasive way of tracking where people are in your home versus like having cameras everywhere. And so, there's a little bit more privacy when it comes to that. But it's cool, and I'm excited to see where the tech goes, or what the applications are. There's probably a number of toolkits where they utilize these sensors, but anything from you on this one, Barry?
The one thing I like about it is it looks all right. It looks like something you could easily have in your home, and it not be a glaring signal that it's a monitored accommodation. It's not, it's basically something that looks like it fits on the wall, and it could be anything at that point. So I think they've taken some efforts to make it be something that is sensible. It looks apart, and therefore is not screaming the special monitoring going on. So I think that it deserves kudos points for that, and therefore that makes it a lot more useful on that way. I think the other bit as well is that the fact that they've done it for monitoring, but it's also, as you say, that it can be coordinated with smart lamps, with smart plug, all the smart technologies. So it actually makes it useful for the occupant, not just in time of emergency. So it's almost making it dual use in that respect. So yeah, because again, it's something that we've seen a lot of before, but I think this takes it to a next level, which I'm very much a fan of. So the next one, I think I'm going to leave in your hands, because you're clearly a massive darts fan, as well as being a Star Wars fan. So what's the next one?
Huge darts fan. I've played darts maybe twice in my life. The Star Wars dartboard is a cool thing, I guess. I think the the interesting thing about this is that it uses cameras to track the darts as they come over to the board, and it sounds like there's this omni light ring that goes along the outside, and those are the cameras that track your position. It sends that to an app to keep track of your score, and apparently there's the legendary darts announcer John McDonald narrates your game, and so that's pretty cool for a big darts fan like me.
See, when I sort of highlighted this, I obviously highlighted because Nick is a massive Star Wars fan. Whereas here in the UK, darts is actually having a bit of a massive resurgence, with the likes of, there's a lot of younger players getting involved. We've got the current world champion Luke Littler, who's only just turned 18, and this is the second time he's won it. So we're getting a lot more younger people involved. But what is an interesting thing is obviously people's mental arithmetic isn't brilliant, and so that's why a lot of people were encouraged to play darts when they were younger, because having to add up the scores and do the do the subtraction from your 301 or 501 score was an exercise and gives you mental agility. This dartboard obviously takes away from some of that because it's doing the maths for you, but the ability to meld, I guess, a couple of different ideas in play. This really lends itself to encouraging more people to give it a go, and get the fun and the benefit out of it. I do occasionally throw some darts, but not very often in the grand scheme of things. Would I want to be paying £200 for the board? $650 for the board. Not a Star Wars version, but I quite like the idea. I like the idea of what they've done with it. It could be quite popular over here in the UK, I think.
Sorry, can I just gripe for a second? So I have the board up here.
Yeah.
Can I just like gripe at the fact that this board itself is of the interior of the Millennium Falcon, and they've like really missed the mark on a huge opportunity to make this the Death Star exhaust port that would just be I mean, I don't know how you represent that visually other than the end of the Death Star trench run, and you're shooting the darts into the port, but like really, come on.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Okay, gripe
so
over.
but is this going to encourage you to maybe go, I don't know, maybe have another go at darts again and see whether you think it'd be worth justifying of just £100,000 to $1,000 to get yourself a dartboard?
Tell you what, if they use the suggestion to turn it into the Death Star trench run, maybe.
Oh well, there's a challenge laid.
My Persona AI is the next one that we have on this list, and this one is cool because we've talked about this a lot on the show about recreating ourselves digitally and trying to get sort of this quote unquote AI version of ourselves. And this is what this My Persona AI software. What is it? Is it software? Is it what it's hoping to do?
So this isn't new. In fact, a whole bunch of years ago, and I think I've talked about this on the show before, I was the topic of a virtual. In fact, a virtual Barry was created where you could ask a virtual version of me what it could do and all that sort of stuff. But the amount of effort it took to do all the learning, to do all that sort of stuff, was just really, really difficult. The concept was spot on, and the concept was amazing, and not too dissimilar to what is being talked about here. As in, you can ask questions, and get the same sort of answers as what you'll get from me live. What this has done is take that idea. Obviously, they've had the idea, but working with the idea and actually using current technology to make it happen. And it's a really, I think it's a clever idea. Firstly, it can. I like the idea of basically checking yourself, checking your own thoughts, using this as a way to do that, and see what sort of ask it questions as if it was you. But then you give it to other people, and if they want to work out what you would say in a certain situation, using this. My Persona AI, you could do that, which is fun. Integrating that into your voice and text chat is possibly a step far. I mean, I like the idea of it. I'm currently experimenting with a couple of different AI models integrated with my emailer, so which is giving me drafts of responses and things like that, which is becoming fairly common. So it could do that, but it's then a small step for potentially, if it's on your phone, for it to actually do the responding without any human intervention. So there is a bit of a well-trodden ground when we come on this show about warning about the use of AI. But fundamentally, as an app, I like it, and I fancy having a go with it to see how it works, to see what the implementation is like compared to what we imagined probably about 8 years ago now. In fact, maybe slightly more.
I still would love to do the experiment where you have a digital me, digital you, and they do a podcast and see how it compares to a real thing. It'd just be hilarious.
Maybe this will be the platform to help us do that.
Perhaps. 3-panel phones are a thing. Moving on.
Do they need to be a thing? Sorry.
Do they? I don't know. I maybe. So let me talk about this from like a perspective where I've used a I don't own one, but I've used a 2-panel phone, and it's an interesting experience because these the thing that you think about with these foldable phones is, what does that crease look like on the screen? And I think the technology has come a long way from what you might think if you have not seen one of these in person in a while. The latest tech on these is actually really good. You can see the like fold in the phone, but only from like an angle. If you're straight on, you can't really tell where it's at because of the screen, but you can still feel where it's at with your fingers, which is a little bit jarring when you're like on a larger screen and you're trying to do something tactile, like play a game or something to that effect. It's really interesting how far it's come, and I don't know how much better they can get it. It's quite amazing. And so to have a 3-panel phone, that's the next step. And what you're really looking at that point is you're kind of pulling out a tablet from your pocket. If you think about it, right? What kind of use cases could you have? I can think of a lot of use cases in fields where you need to, do data entry or something, or, you have gloves on and you need to poke at buttons on a device, but you don't have the real estate on your person to keep a tablet, and so you have something like the trifold, right? This Galaxy Z trifold. It's actually winning best product in the Best of CES awards, which is really interesting, considering everything that I just said, given that, the technology on these things are getting much, much better. And I don't know. To me, I've always argued that I like to carry tanks with me. So my laptop is not just, a small, petite little Chromebook or something. It's actually beefy and capable of doing an entire show out at a conference. And I would argue the same about my phone. I tend to like something that's powerful and that can do a lot. And now with something like this, the folding screens are big at CES, but this one specifically in a phone format, I don't know. What are your thoughts on the whole foldable phone thing?
So coming from the position that I've not used a folding phone, old school, I really like the flip phones, clam phones, things like that. But I've always had that prejudice around the fold in the screen, which, having seen them, it's not a thing. It's fine. It seems to work. But I just don't get the need for 3 panels in it. Like I say, I think there is definite use cases and there is definitely an audience for them. I'm very much outside of all of them Venn diagrams, I think. I just think that I do have a decent size phone that I do a lot on it. But if I'm doing stuff that needs a larger screen, then I'm going to a tablet or I'm going to a laptop. So I think there's also perhaps a thing there. I'm maybe do myself a slight injustice, because I also think that if it was more capable, I would do more things on it. And so I would find it harder. It's hard enough to put a phone down now at the moment, that actually maybe with this as well, I would maybe find it harder to put down, because I'd be using it more like a tablet than the phone as is. So I think from a technology development point of view, brilliant. The fact that we can have basically origami phones, and we getting down that thing, the screen technology, and it's not just the screens, it's the hinging, it's the way that you get the circuitry around it and things like that. Absolutely brilliant. Do I want one, or in fact need one? No, I really don't.
To me, the biggest question I have is, how do the cases work for a trifold?
Yeah, well, yeah.
How do you put a case on this thing? That's anyway. It's a problem for a different kind of engineer.
Well, somebody else. Yes.
Okay, you want to talk about this local Wi-Fi?
Yeah, only briefly, because I think this is one of them technologies that's going to be, I think, end up being a bit of a backbone technology in the same way that we use Wi-Fi and Bluetooth now. So most devices, when we talk about smart devices, wearables, they're either connected by Wi-Fi or by Bluetooth or both. Bluetooth probably more for low power, low density data. If you get into high density data, you're using more of a Wi-Fi solution. But the Lexana YR is a more of a high-powered local Wi-Fi that is built around that whole wearable and very local architectures. So so you're not going to get anything flash on the front of it in the same way. You don't go out and buy just a Bluetooth device. It's going to be embedded in other things. It's going to work that way, but it's going to empower wearable technologies and local small technologies in a way that will enable the development of technologies in the future. So there's not a massive amount of HF involved in this per se, except for the fact it's going to be an enabler of future technologies. So it's just worth, I think, highlighting and flagging and just say, well done, folks.
Okay, should we get to the fridges? Let's get to the fridge. The
Well, I thought
refrigerator.
You wanted to talk about waifu.
Oh, sorry, I
You
skipped
missed
over
waifu.
waifus. How could I skip over the anime desktop waifus? This is an invention from Razer that it's called Project Ava, and it's essentially just it's a holographic desk companion, and it has built into it cameras and microphones, and it is directly into our favorite AI Grok, and so have fun with that. But I think the concept here is interesting that we are this one won one of the worst in show things. So I think I will try to put a positive spin on the technology, but a negative spin on the implementation. So I think what they're doing here is they're preying on lonely people who want a desk companion or a companion just in general. I think the larger trend that I'm seeing with this is that there is a market want for some sort of assistant that is on your desk. And to date, the options that we have are some of the big giants, and they're I'm trying to not use any trigger words here that would set them off, but the in-home listening devices, those are your desk assistants right now.
Mm.
This provides some sort of visual element to that provides you with feedback that is not traditionally available now, unless you look at one of the ones with a screen. We'll say that. And then I think there's an interesting personification that's happening here, that we're personifying these companions to assist us with things, right? This Razer Project Ava is specifically for things like gaming, and it says everyday assistant, but you can customize it, you can choose different characters, and I think that there's something interesting to that when you look at the long term. I'd love to have a personal assistant that's less gimmicky on my desk, that would help me with like scheduling and stuff, or to remind me about things, and plugged into a different AI than Grok. It's a negative selling point for me. What do you think about these things?
Yeah, I coming from a defense and security background, I have massive issues with them.
Yeah.
But I guess to do them some credit, I guess they are looking at we're always about integration and integrating into workspaces and stuff. So it's kind of doing that, but just as I try and get on a positive element of it, it's wide into grok, which in the UK it's just been banned, or the implementation of it has been banned for what it does to pictures of people. So you just don't know. Yeah, I think I just don't like it. I can't dress it up anymore. We use smart speakers, assistants, and things like that sort of sparingly now. I don't think they're necessarily as they're as popular as they were. They're definitely coming. They've definitely got their space and their niche. I just don't think this needs to be anywhere near it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Let's talk about fridges.
Yeah. We've got something else we don't need to be anyway. So, but the story of the humble refrigerator is an interesting one. It's been around CES for as long as we can remember, because who would have thought that the fridge is just about making food cold? So we've had cameras in fridges, we've had cameras outside fridges, we've got barcode scanners now on fridges, so to track what's in there. We've had more Android tablets embedded into fridges. We've got computing and telling you what you've got in the fridge, and therefore what recipes you can make, and trying to track it. And again, there's another the Samsung Family Hub Smart Fridge with AI embedded, no less, has also won Worst in Show for repairability. Fundamentally, I'm doing the negative bit first, but I think there is a positive element to this, because on the negative bit, really, fridges are about keeping the food cold and allowing longevity. Yes, it can help with a bit of family planning, but as in like shopping and things like that. But fundamentally, it keeps on coming back because nobody uses it in that, or very few people use it in that way. People buy them with the screens on, and having spoken to somebody the other day who worked in one of our larger domestic appliance store shop chains, he was telling us that as soon as these ones come in with screens and things like that, they if you go into the right areas, they absolutely sell. People want them. And I think that's largely down to not because of the fact of what it intelligently does within the fridge, but the fact that you've got some real estate in the kitchen because that can be used more intelligently. So we all use fridges, or at least certainly every fridge we've ever had has always got things stuck to it. It's always got any receipts or anything has got a magnet on there, and you've got on there, or you've got a bit of a family notepad about who's doing what and things like that. So really what we're trying to do is almost get away from the fridge being the technology in the fridge being helping us use the stuff in the fridge, but recognize it's a massive piece of real estate within the kitchen that gets utilized. And so are we just utilizing that space better? So I think for all of that, I think it's good recognition within this element that we're using, that's real estate that can be used and could be used in a clever, intelligent way. But it doesn't need AI. It doesn't need more cameras inside it. And I don't think actually it needs barcode recognition either, because I don't know about you, but when if either we bring shopping home or the shopping gets delivered, it's all you can do to try and get the shopping into the fridge as fast as you possibly can to get back to doing what you're doing, not to then laboriously scan stuff as you go through, because that's never an easy process. I'll get off my hobby horse now and let you talk.
I think so. Yes, I agree with you. I think that ultimately, yes, a fridge is there to make food cold, but I think these I will call them advances in technology or applications of technology by putting cameras inside the fridge or using AI or using barcode scanning is actually aimed at a different problem. And I think the problem that it's aimed at is food waste. And I think if you think about the problem where, I have something in my fridge and I don't want it to go to waste. Hey, you put these carrots in here a week ago and they're about to not be great. You should use them in something tonight. And here's a couple of other things in your fridge that you could pair them with. I think that is the use case that they're trying to solve for. I don't think they've hit the mark, but I think that's the use case that they're trying to solve for. Where I agree with you, that's on the inside. On the outside, you're absolutely right that the real estate is actually meant for other things, not necessarily ordering food. That can be done from your phone. But give me a nice little picture frame that I can see pictures of my family on that are rotating, like just give me that, maybe a calendar, something useful. And yeah, you're right. There are different uses for the outside real estate, and people may use it differently. Somebody might put a calendar on it. Somebody might put pictures on it. Somebody might put reminders on it. Somebody might actually use it for purchasing their food. But um, I'm I'm uh, I'm hopeful that the technology will actually solve that food waste problem someday. But and I'm not as cynical on the loaded up with all these sensors, because I think the more data that you have about what's in the fridge, then you can, link it up to an app or something that's out of
Mm.
your fridge and say, hey, cook this broccoli or cook these mushrooms before they go bad.
I think the sensor in the fridge is a really valid argument, and if you could get that to work, then absolutely game changer. I think the problem we've got at the moment is that, again, the examples here are, they want you to scan your barcodes as you put it in. There is currently no fail-safe way of understanding what's in the fridge without user intervention. And the users, we all know, they might use it. They'll spend a lot of money on this, on a fridge like this. So therefore, for maybe the first month, I'll be hopeful. The first month, you will religiously scan all of your items in, to the point that you don't do it once, and then actually didn't do it last time, so it didn't really matter, and then you won't do it again, and so it'll be junk.
I agree with you. All right, you just wrote down fitness here. What about fitness?
Yeah, so there's a lot of fitness and well-being stuff in here that I think is really interesting. So stuff around, I think there's a lot of recognition that we're not getting outside enough. So there is the sun replacement lamps. There is the alarm clock. So there's an alarm clock in here that it gives you dawn replication, but he's also understanding that more people are not wanting to have their phones beside the beds, that they're trying to get some of that screen divide away. So this is doing more to do maybe some of the things that are not harmful habits beside your bed. So play your podcast, maybe play your music, that type of thing. So there's things like that, but also just there's a lot more tracking, a lot more bits of technologies to help you do things on the run and gather more data about yourself. So this is a trend that's not going to go away. As more people get more body aware or can track data about themselves when they're running, doing different sports or anything like that, this is still a massive market.
All right, you want to end on a positive note with the lollipops?
Yeah, I think the lollipop is an ace thing. So the lollipop, and it's called where is it? The Lollipop Star, and the idea is that it's a lollipop that when you suck on it, it also plays music, so you can basically taste the music as you're sucking on it. Which is a really interesting use of that idea that it vibrates and you hear it through jaw vibrations and things like that. The reason why it's got so much attention is it's basically single use. It's single use battery, single use plastics, and so as soon as you've used it, you throw it away, which is really disappointing, because as it says in quite a lot of the articles, there's going to be, after CES, there's going to be loads and loads of dumpsters around the place with just lots of these in them. I think from the perspective of future stuff, I think it's possibly, as a novelty item, I think there's actually some bits of the technology there that could be quite interesting about how we deal with sound and the use of sound and vibration through. We already have bone conduction, but is there a different novel use for it? So worth investigating, but I think we need to give the lollipops a chance.
I don't know. It screams of greed to me. The thing that they could have done here is made, a base that has vibrations that carry that to your face, and you could recharge it, and that to me seems like a much more eco-friendly option than something like this.
It wouldn't have made it much to make it rechargeable. Not with the electronics capabilities of today.
Yeah.
But yeah,
or reloadable even if they I see the thing about this is that right now they sell these so that way they can corner the market on this thing. Anyway, all right. I'm off my soapbox. Positive note, CES 2026 was a hit. I think there was a lot of great stuff. Lots of stuff I'm excited about. I think overall this is maybe one of the I hate to say this, but least exciting CESs that we've seen in a while. There's not like a whole lot of things that are transformative. There's a lot of things that are interesting, but not like are going to change the way that we live our lives. I don't know. Final thoughts on CES 2026, Barry.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think what we've seen this year is evolution of ideas rather than revolution of new thought. So, is this a sign that we're sort of plateauing in terms of creativity of new consumerware? Probably not. I would like to think there's still new things out there for us to do. Maybe it's just been a year that people thought, take a bit of time off, and that clearly shows in it. I think quite a lot of the output.
Yeah. All right. Huge thank you to New York Times, CNET, and the Register for our news stories today, and CES, of course, for all the gadgets. If you want to follow along with the news stories, we do post links to all the original articles in our Discord, where you can find us and join us for more discussion on these stories and much more. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back right after this.
Human Factors Cast brings you the best in human factors news, interviews, conference coverage, and overall fun conversations into each and every episode we produce. But we can't do it without you. The Human Factors Cast network is 100% listener supported. All the funds that go into running the show come from our listeners. Our patrons are our priority, and we want to ensure we're giving back to you for supporting us. Pledges start at just $1 per month and include rewards like access to our weekly Q&As with the hosts, personalized professional reviews, and Human Factors Minute, a Patreon-only weekly podcast where the hosts break down unique, obscure, and interesting human factors topics in just 1 minute. Patreon rewards are always evolving, so stop by patreon.com/humanfactorscast to see what support level may be right for you. Thank you, and remember, it depends.
Yes, huge thank you as always to our patrons. We really couldn't do this without you, honestly. If you want to become a patron and want to get involved in the patron community and get some special perks, you can find us there. Human Factors Cast Patreon, which is patreon.com/Human Factors Cast. It's up above Barry's face if you're watching live. So we don't have time for It Came From, but we still have some stuff to catch up on over the years, so we will get to it. I promise. We just had so much fun talking about CES this week. But let's just get into one more thing. Needs no introduction. Just talking about other things. Barry, what do you got?
So, in my usual way, I've got a couple of bits to highlight. So, one is a professional plea. So, some of you might know I'm involved in the IEA as part of the comms and comms team, but I'm trying to get a fundamental understanding about what people want out of, or what do they think the IEA does, or does for you as ergonomists and human factors practitioners. It's got a number of facets. It's got like tech groups. It's got lots of stuff going on, but from fundamentally, what do you think it should be there doing? So if anybody's got any thoughts and wants to share them with me, drop me an email, drop me a message anywhere you can. I'd be anonymously or face to face. I'd be keen to hear your thoughts about what it is that you think it should be doing. Even if, or have you even heard of the IEA? I mean, there's a big question. A lot of people don't even know it exists. But more fundamentally and more importantly, I think hotels need to conduct task analysis, because I went down to breakfast this morning. So a new hotel, not stayed here before. And the layout for breakfast was, you could tell that nobody got in and said, right, what do I want to do? I want to make coffee. In order to make coffee, I need to pick up a mug. I need to be able to program the machine and do all that sort of stuff. Because the mugs were the other side of the room. The coffee machine's on the other side of the room. The toast and the toaster, the bread, the toaster, and the butter were nowhere near each other. I spent ages sort of looking around, just going, I need you to employ me just for a bit, or just let me sort it out for you. I shouldn't need to be harassed with or my brain overloaded at breakfast time, thinking I need to do a task analysis before breakfast. That's just my life at the moment.
I think I hear hotel management coming up to your room right now.
I'll say if my
Are you s-
Wi-Fi drops out right now, you know why. What about you, Nick? What's your one more thing?
Well, first, I'm gonna send you a message about what I think the IEA does. But for my one more thing, I got to try the Meta Ray-Ban glasses,
Ooh.
and they're pretty cool. But I'm gonna say that the novelty wears off very quickly. It's pretty cool to get that like point of view when you record using the glasses. They're surprisingly comfortable, which is something that I wouldn't have anticipated as a glasses wearer. I thought,
Mhm.
I could certainly tell the weight, but no, it was fine. The audio was fine. I used it in a quiet area, so I don't think it would do great in like a loud setting. But beyond that, what happened after I had got to use those is I went down like an XR rabbit hole. And because the thing is, I don't want to get AI. I don't.
Mhm.
And I don't want to. I don't want to integrate with that platform. But I am excited about Google's take coming out later this year. I'm sure they have a ton of lessons learned from Glass way back in the day,
Mm.
and given their Gemini platform is much more palatable to me, and I think the integration with the Google suite is going to be a selling point for me as well. And I think there's a lot of positive things that people are saying about those ones, especially the HUD version, which is really cool. I'm super excited for it. So I will report back when I get those and be sure to tell you how they are. Okay, well, that's it for today, everyone. If you like this episode, enjoy some of the discussion about CES, I'll encourage you to listen to last year's CES coverage. It's always a good time when we talk about these things, and you can see how those things have changed over just the course of 1 year. Comment wherever you're listening with what you think of the story this week. For more in-depth discussion, you can join us on our Discord community. Visit our official website, sign up for our newsletter, stay up to date with all the latest Human Factors news. If you like what you hear, you want to support the show, there's a couple things that you can do. One, you can leave us a 5-star review wherever you're watching or listening right now. That helps other people find us. You can tell your friends about us. That word of mouth is really powerful and really goes a long way. So if you want to tell your friends that you listen to a cool show with a couple of how would you describe us? There's also, you can consider supporting us on Patreon. If you're embarrassed about us but want to support us in some other ways, you can always support us financially by going over to patreon.com/humanfactorscast. As always, links to all of our socials and our website are in the description of this episode. Mr. Barry Kirby, thank you for being on the show today. Where can our listeners go and find you if they want to talk about, I don't know, refrigerators?
You can find me on most socials, LinkedIn, Facebook, all the usual ones. But if you also want to hear me do some interviews starting in next week when our first one goes live of this year, then you can find me on 1202 The Human Factors Podcast, which is at its new domain address of 1202pod.com.
As for me, I've been your host, Nick Roome. You can find me on our Discord and across social media at Nick_Roome. Thanks again for tuning into Human Factors Cast. Until next time,
It
depends.
depends. Music.
I know. I'm working on it.
There we go.
All right, very very short post show for you tonight because the hotel management has been banging on Barry's door for the last 5 minutes, telling him, "What are you telling people about our bed and breakfast?"
Yeah, that's true. It's I tell you what, going to that whole having to change podcasting was so enlightening about how easily, if you don't how easily it could all be derailed if you're not careful. Because I don't know how long that.
Are you at liberty to talk about what happened in a public, like to where it wouldn't compromise any security?
Yeah, I think so. So in effect, I'd had a when I set up the podcast and was decided I was going to have a domain for it because I was just running through normal channels. So it's when I particularly when I was going to have a podcast. So we use Podpage as the actual content provider, as the content host, but obviously you then have a domain that takes the addressing and points it at Podpage. And so I had a company or a guy within a company to set up that domain name for me because it's what he does, and he was like, yeah, he was happy to do it, and that was all sorted out. So then fast forward a couple of years, he's now left that company. And it wasn't until this happened that I was like, okay, tried to reach out, but of course he'd moved on, so there was and for various reasons there wasn't any records there, and he wasn't part of the main account. So they were like, oh, really sorry, we don't have access to that. So I tried to reach out to the individual themselves, and they just give it a good old ignoring. They might not have seen it, but anyway, they no responses to any help. And so I reached out to the registrar, who was looking at it, saying, "Look, this has clearly been changed. It's going to the wrong place. You can see, whilst I'm not down as the registered owner, you can tell it's for me because look, here's my ID, and look at the podcast and what it relates to." And they basically came back and said, "Yeah, there's nothing we can do." So we could go and arbitrate for it and try and do all that. Well, I was like, well, I'm not going to give them the satisfaction. And really, the amount of traffic I get through the website as such is not huge. So not compared to people direct finding on either the podcast channels or YouTube or through the shorts. So was it worth the hassle? Because it cost money at that point to try and arbitrate for it. And so I was like, is there any other domains out there that I was like that would make sense for me to go with? So I was looking at 1202HF podcast, but I was like, actually, I'll just keep it short and simple. That also means that I could, wherever I got it written in any like stickers and stuff like that, I could probably get away with editing.
Or cross out cast.
Just cast, yeah. So there's some, because I was like, I've got some t-shirts with, and hoodies and stuff made. I was like, actually, but none of them have the website on because it was all pre-website. So it hasn't been. So then we come up with 1202podcast.com, but because I've registered it under my own domain account, then, which I've got a couple of others, I can also get the domain protection as well, which means it just adds that extra level of security. So slight lesson learned for me that I should have had it secured. Either you've either got to be completely on board with the company who's doing it for you, or if you're doing it yourself, if you've got any thoughts about that, pull it to where it is and you've got control over it. I also think domain registration companies now are a lot better at being more user friendly. So they walk you through more how to manage it. So it's not like even like 10 years ago. I think being a part of your job as a website seller, there was a bit of a black art there in how to do the domain registration and stuff. Whereas I think that is now just way more easier. So a lot easier to do and a lot easier to play with. But it's something I could have really done without having to mess about with. But yeah, it was a journey.
You could have gone with 1202podcast.media.
Could have done. Because I could have also go to 1202podcast.co.uk.
Oh yeah,
which was also available. But I was like, if I'm gonna make a change, what is a change that people will actually acknowledge as a change, and not accidentally slip back to 1202podcast.com? And so I was like, is just the changing of the suffix going to really do it? And I couldn't just get 1202.com. 1202.com itself is taken, which I thought was a shame. But yeah, there was no right answer because I already had the perfect domain already. But then they broke it. I mean, the longer term answer as well is to try and keep an eye on that domain and see if I can get it back at some point.
Set up notifications for sure.
Yeah, but I'm not going to cry about it. It's like I said, it adds a veneer of respectability, but it's actually not the main. It's not the main place that I get stuff with. So funsies.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you need to explain a little bit about your Ray-Ban Metas. How did you get to try them on?
They had them on display at a store.
Cool. Okay.
Which didn't have the full suite of tools, but it was enough for me to understand what they were about.
So what were you seeing? What were they actually projecting?
Nothing.
Onto you?
It was the non-projecting type.
I see.
But there was a display that it was kind of like the app that you could do the recording, and then you would see what you're seeing on the display there.
Right. Okay.
So that was interesting. My wife and I, she's about a foot shorter than me. No, 10 inches shorter than me, and I was like, "This is what you look like to me," from my point of view. And then this is what you look like to me. So that was interesting. And like I said, I think there's I will be so interested in trying the Google ones when they come out. I will likely buy a pair because those are going to be real cool.
We will have shows. We'll have to do a show when that happens.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, we should probably wrap up so that you can go talk to hotel management about task analyses, and just thank you for joining us tonight. If you have been with us for any amount of time, thank you for being with us tonight. Really appreciate that. We'll be back sometime around the February 5th time frame. Hopefully you have no conflicts then, Barry.
I barely looked out of January yet, but I don't think so. I think we're good.
Okay. All right. So probably February 5th is when we will be back. And we'll be back to talk about something. And what that something is, well, you'll have to join us on Discord to see what news stories are coming through the feed. And you can join us there and tell us what you want to hear about. Until then, Barry, any last words before you go and talk to hotel management?
No, me and hotel management we'll go and have some fun. Thank you very much for all the fun tonight. It's great.
All right. Until then, see ya. Bye, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Are you tired of boring lectures and textbooks on human factors and UX? Well, grab your headphones and get ready for a wild ride with the Human Factors Minute podcast. Each minute is like a mini crash course packed with valuable insights and information on various organizations, conferences, usability methods, theories, models, certifications, tools, and much more. We'll take you on a journey through the fascinating world of human factors, from the ancient history to the latest trends and developments. Listen in as we explore the field and discover new ways to enhance the user experience. From the Think Aloud protocol to the critical incident technique, focus groups, iterative design, we'll make sure that you're the smartest person in the room. Tune in on the 10th, the 20th, and the last day of every month for a new and interesting tidbit related to human factors. Don't miss out on the Human Factors Minute podcast, your ultimate source for all things human factors.
Human Factors Cast brings you the best in human factors news, interviews, conference coverage, and overall fun conversations into each and every episode we produce. But we can't do it without you. The Human Factors Cast network is 100% listener supported. All the funds that go into running the show come from our listeners. Our patrons are our priority, and we want to ensure we're giving back to you for supporting us. Pledges start at just $1 per month and include rewards like access to our monthly Q&As with the hosts, personalized professional reviews, and access to the full library of Human Factors Minute, a weekly podcast where the hosts break down unique, obscure, and interesting human factors topics in just 1 minute. Patreon rewards are always evolving, so stop by patreon.com/humanfactorscast to see what support level may be